Well, it is episode 11 of the TO Sports Talk podcast. I'm your host, James Price, along with my buddy Evan Brown. How's it going, bud?
Not good.
It really ain't going well.
I think I need a bottle of Jack right now because it's a very, very sad day for Toronto sports in general. We're starting with the Raptors, obviously, and their woes continue with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the LeBronto
Craptors?
Yeah.
Yes, oh my gosh.
So, of course, we're going to be breaking that down and what the team needs, if they need to fire Dwayne Casey, blow up the team, keep the team. We're going to be all discussing that. And with the Jays.
And we'll be talking Blue Jays. I mean, they're obviously having a rough night tonight, getting no hit through 6 innings. But
also,
they're in a weird spot right now. They haven't got swept in a while. They've lost some series as of late, and of course we got to touch on Roberto Osuna, obviously this morning with the whole assault case. We'll talk about that later on.
And also the Leafs going into the draft. I'm going to mention the draft a little bit with the Leafs, but mainly going around the league, see what's going on with the series. Playoff hockey is still upon us, but we're going to touch onto the draft and what the Leafs can do with the 25th overall selection.
And a little bit of the Marlies.
And a little bit of the Marlies. And a little bit of the Marlies, too. And, of course, questions afterwards. So let's get this bad boy rolling with the Toronto Raptors. And I'm surprised they didn't win a game.
Skip Bayless said it before the series. He said we were going to get swept. We all thought he's nuts.
And they had the guy who's with Stephen A. Smith, Max something. He said Toronto winning in 6.
And Charles Barkley said we were going to win it too, and he's the Barkley curse, and there you have it. But he did stop saying it after game 2, so it really didn't help us too much.
Personally, I think blow it up. Blow up the team.
So is that including Dwayne Casey?
Yep. It's not working. This was the last year that I would have wanted this whole core.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse from here, Raptors fans. Because we're going to get worse.
Well, because the question we have, right? We're talking about, the young core is just getting better. They're doing okay. Well, where do we go from here? Do we stay with this core and just pray to God that all these guys are going to develop next year? No,
yes,
you can't do that.
Yes, they have promise, but do you really expect them to take the reins of a Kyle Lowry, of a DeMar? They don't have the upside of a Kyle Lowry or DeMar DeRozan yet, and I don't think they ever will.
Let's say that LeBron stays in the East and stays with Cleveland, just for argument's sake. With this Raptor team the way it's built, and yes, let's say they develop, and they look better next the young guys, the OGs, Fred VanVleets, those guys, and they get better next year in the regular season.
Right.
Can you really go from losing 10 straight playoff games, or I guess you get swept this year, but you've lost 10 straight playoff games to the Cavs, to winning a series?
Well, not even that. You have to look besides the Cavs in our own division. The Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers are getting better by the,
back a few years
back. This is a Boston Celtic team without a Kyrie Irving, without a Gordon Hayward, and the young guys are stepping up. Same thing with the 76ers. Look how young they are, and they're going to get better. Yes, they were on the verge of being swept. They won a game. Oh, woohoo. But this Raptor team really has to buckle down and understand we don't have any cap room. We have no draft picks. Thank you, Damari Carroll, for that. So with this team going forward, we either have to get rid of a DeMar DeRozan, which I don't think we should do, Kyle Lowry, which I do think we should do, and a Dwayne Casey, or all three. Blow it up. Blow it up.
But what do we do with Serge Ibaka? What do you do with Jonas Valanciunas?
Those aren't key players. I'm talking about key players. Yes.
Well, clearly,
yes, you should
if Ibaka did something in the darn playoffs, we might have won some games. But he was useless, and he got benched.
And me and you were talking about this a little bit with Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
When he was on the Thunder with the big three, Harden, Westbrook, and Durant, he wasn't looked at as a superstar.
Right. He wasn't listed as the guy.
The guy.
On that team.
He was a role player. Yeah. Maybe a little bit better than a role player. On the Magic, it was a bad team.
They're a bad team. You had nothing to live up to in that state.
Maybe he was looked at, but
you get anything over 10 points a game down there, and you're looked as a stud. You know what I mean? Then I look at Toronto, and I'm like, wait, and he came over here. He hasn't been the greatest. I mean, there's been times where he's okay, and he looks good, and we're like, that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
But he can't sustain it.
No.
And if that's because this is I wouldn't say a big market, but I mean, you could call it
that. It's a medium-sized market.
Let's say
it's a medium-sized market.
If he can't do that, you're not going to go anywhere.
No, you're not.
You're really
going to be going to, maybe, I don't know, back to the Magic, Charlotte, the Hawks,
Yeah.
A team that's a small market team that doesn't really have a spotlight on you. The spotlight was on him to make those key offensive boards, to make those key blocks, because that's what you need him for. Not necessarily points, to be tough. to be a tough guy, because throughout his career,
Yep.
his blocking was unbelievable. His blocking, right?
Right.
His power moves inside the post. Did he look? He looked.
I think
lost.
with one of his blocks in the playoffs, I think he's now top 10 in playoff blocks in the NBA history. It's kind
Did it show this round?
No, God, no. But blocks are a nice number. But really, what does it do? I mean, it does possibly give you a possession, and it possibly fires up the crowd. Look, if he led in,
it's an overrated stat. No. Because you block the ball and it pretty much goes back to the point guard if it's a big
that
block.
or it goes out of bounds and it's still their ball.
Yeah.
How many times you block a ball and your team picks it up?
Toughness. I'm just talking more toughness and just be more physical around the
so,
rim. Because
instead of breaking down one guy,
right?
You want to blow up this team.
Yes.
What does that mean to you? What does that mean? DeMar DeRozan, as much as we think he's a young guy, he's still all that kind of stuff. Look, DeMar DeRozan, if I'm not mistaken, he's like 28 years old, isn't he? 28 years old. He'll be 29 next year. So he's not young. He's not the DeRozan we had a few years back.
But with DeMar DeRozan, I understand that. But with DeMar DeRozan, right, maybe he's not that type of player where the spotlight needs to be on him. Let's just say that we keep a DeMar DeRozan and maybe get, I don't know, a few years down the road we suck completely and we get maybe, I don't know, the 3rd overall pick. That's going to be our superstar. I'm just saying.
DeRozan will be 30, 31, 32 at that point.
He's a key player. He's a role player, and I think that's what he needs to be. Because obviously it's not working for him to be a superstar on this team. It's not.
Well, with DeMar DeRozan on this team, you can't blow it all up then.
Well,
how do you blow it all up with DeMar DeRozan?
Well, blowing it up as in maybe rising his stock, giving him a lot more playing time without a Kyle Lowry, trading him in the offseason. Do what the 76ers did. I'm not saying completely tank, because I'm not really a huge fan of that. Yes, it works, but I'm not a huge fan of that.
We have no draft pick for this year either. So
and we have no cap room. If we can unload, Kyle Lowry just signed a $100 million deal. DeRozan, a $139 million deal. So I don't know what it is with this team, but the one key, if we were to keep Kyle and DeMar, I don't know if there's any way you can get Hassan Whiteside from the Miami Heat to it.
The problem with Hassan Whiteside, he's an old-time NBA player. He grabs rebounds, he blocks shots, he's decent on the inside, but he can't guard the outside. He can't shoot the 3. There's all that thing. And then we're back to talking about what JV was back even last year.
Right, but I'm saying if we get a Hassan Whiteside that can do all that and then get a mobile power forward, better Mobley than Serge Ibaka.
So then what do you do with JV then? Maybe trade him?
Package him. Maybe, if I were the Heat, I would maybe, I'll pick up the phone for the Raptors. What can we do to get Hassan Whiteside from you guys? Maybe we'll throw in. I'm just speculating.
I don't know.
I'm just speculating now. I was thinking about this trade a little bit. JV and Serge Ibaka for Hassan Whiteside and maybe a Dion Waiters. And then maybe you can package Lowry for a mobile power forward like I was going at. That is an option. And I think the Raptors they have to do something. In that trade, a Dion Waiters on the Toronto Raptors.
We disagree on some things, but that is one thing I agree 100% about. Something has to change. What that is, I don't know. But I do not want Coach Casey to say, okay, we're going to let Lucas Nogueira walk and we're going to sign a mobile big man, and that's about it.
No.
And I do not want to see
that. A superstar on this team has to be let go.
Now, there's been talks. I mean, not big talks with the Raptors, but we've been hearing all season long about Kawhi leaving the Spurs. We've heard all season about Paul George. Is he going to re-sign with
Irving for Kawhi? They said that.
Okay,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But then I look at Paul George and his situation in Oklahoma City. He really didn't live up to expectations there. But the problem with Oklahoma City, Russ Westbrook does not look to win. He looks for himself. And I'm sorry. Look, I look at Russell Westbrook. He's a great player. Right. But how many players average triple-doubles every single game? I'm not saying he does it all the time, but when you average triple-doubles the entire season, something's not right about that.
Well, Kevin Love did it.
Okay, but look what happened here. Yeah. Melo with the Knicks. He was great. Even though he was getting older, he was still very good. Yes. We know what George was with Indiana. The guy was nuts. He was fantastic. Yep. They both go there, and they both play garbage. Why?
Well, not even that. The same thing with Golden State. With Kevin Durant coming over. Steph Curry isn't looked at as an MVP candidate. He was injured a little bit. It's all about the ball and because the ball can only go to so many players. And if you have an extremely amount of good superstars on one team, the scoring can't spread out a lot.
No. I just don't believe that Russell Westbrook can win a championship.
With the team they have now.
I don't know if he can win it, period. Just the way he is. The way he is about...
his mentality?
Yeah, because I feel like he wants the ball at all times. You look at James Harden and Chris Paul. Everyone thought that was going to be a problem. But look at how they adapt to that situation. They bring in a big three to Oklahoma City. They barely get... They get through round one... Or, sorry, they get to the playoffs, and they get crushed by Utah.
But see, I think the problem with Westbrook is that when Durant left for that one season, it was all him. It was all him on the OKC Thunder, so he had to literally carry that team,
well, that's
himself.
That's understandable.
And then,
yes.
So to be honest with you, I don't think it's completely over. Yes, Paul George is probably going to leave. I think they should keep Melo around because Westbrook has that mentality where he needs to carry this team by ankles, by himself, and that's what he did when KD left.
That shouldn't be the case when you have Paul George on the team.
I know that, but it takes maybe a little bit getting used to. And
it took a whole season, and a really small sample size.
It was a whole season when he was just by himself.
But then you look at James Harden and Chris Paul. It took them a little bit.
It's the mentality.
It didn't take long.
Is Chris Paul like a Russell Westbrook? No, Paul...
I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying that everyone was talking about how that they both, Chris Paul and James Harden, love the ball in their hands all the time. How is this going to work? And look at them. They're going to be heading to the Western Conference Finals. That's just what that is.
It's just the winning mentality of a Westbrook, because I think mentally he's more... Not prepared, but he's more of a kind of guy where you don't know what like he's very on edge. But a Chris Paul is a bit more mature. He's a bit older than a Westbrook, so he's kind of calmed down and he's like, okay, well I got the best player in the league, because James Harden compared to a Paul George, there's no question. James Harden is the better player.
Yeah, for sure. No
so
question.
Chris Paul knows that this is his team. He was with the Rockets longer than me, and I'm going to share the ball.
Russell should know clearly
and
from
Russell knows that
year.
This is his team. Russell knows that this is his team, and I know
keyword you just said
disagree.
Team, and it just didn't feel like that.
I disagree with you there. I do agree with you there, but that's just his on-edgy mentality. Because you saw him
That's
after...
why I say he is never going to win a championship. If he continues to act like that, he's never going to do it.
And he can't do it by himself. He can't do it by himself either.
He had so many turnovers all year. He at a high rate. My opinion on that is because he didn't see a pass where he could get an assist.
Right, yeah.
You should be able, if you're in a driving lane, you got three guys on you. No matter if you're looking for an and one or you're looking for an assist, get the ball out of your hands.
Yeah.
Instead of turning the ball over.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what he did
that's what I felt. He didn't have faith in his players.
And it's not like they were facing a very superstar driven Jazz team. They were looked at like they don't have yet. Yes, Mitchell is good, but they don't have a necessarily big guy superstar on the Jazz. They don't. Mitchell's not there yet. He had one good season.
And that tells me right there that Russell Westbrook is...
Westbrook got further by himself last year. They made it out of the first round.
Yeah, because he tries to involve these other guys at some points, and it just doesn't work. And we heard...
to be fair for Westbrook, Melo didn't have a good year at all.
Oh, well, no, he really didn't. No. I mean, I'm not going to blame Westbrook for that, but it's the Paul George.
Yeah, the Paul George, yeah.
Paul George constantly over his career has averaged over 20 a game, and he's been a great shooter, and he's been an amazing player.
But like I said, Westbrook knows this is his team, right? And he knows that George is... It's not like they signed him for long term, like a Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So he knows that in his head it kind of does, because he's like, okay, he's probably not going to re-sign with us next year.
Well, if you play well and you enjoy your time and you work well with your teammates, he will want to come back.
But this is his team. And I agree with you. I agree with you.
Mentality.
No, I agree with you. And that isn't a winning mentality, but he's just used to being the guy when KD left to ride the team.
That's why LeBron James is so good.
Because he can literally...
Not only, when he's in trouble, he dishes the ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's an unbelievable player. You look at his averages in the season, in the playoffs, he's averaging 34 points a game, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's the everything else, The way he plays on defense, the plus-minus category, everything like that. You look at the turnovers. Right. So you look at the 4 turnovers in Game 5 or in Game 3. But other than that, he had a combined 4 in the other 3 games. It tells you he takes care of the ball, and when he's in trouble, he gives it to somebody else.
And not make a dangerous pass.
Right.
Yeah. And not.
That's why he is so good.
Right. But it's LeBron James. We know how LeBron James is. We know how he is against the Raptors. But with, again, I'm bringing back the 1990s New York Knicks.
Yep.
They had their best team in the 90s, but they couldn't get past Jordan and the Bulls. Right? And I don't want this to happen with the Raptors. I really don't.
Were they getting swept every year?
No, not as bad.
See, there you go.
Well, that's worse.
That's the part that hurts the most.
Because we can't even win a fight.
We can't even win a game.
Because game 1, it was that overtime, which we talked about.
The Raptors should have won that, no question about it.
Game 2 was a blowout.
And I think if they won game 1, it would have been a totally different game 2.
And then game 3, they lost
on a buzzer beater by LeBron.
Okay, so,
and that could have gone either way.
And then game 4 was
just
a blowout.
think about that. Raptors win game 1. Game 2 at home looks totally different.
But James, these are ifs. If. It's not working.
Exactly. So you gotta make some change.
A lot of changes.
Now,
because we said we were having this conversation. Well, obviously not on this podcast, but this time last year.
Yeah.
Except we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Not last year. We lost 2 to Cleveland, and we lost 4 straight again.
4 straight. It was the year before.
It was the year before.
It was the year before.
Yeah.
2015,
I think it was.
Right. But this just proves it's not working. Let Dwayne Casey go, in my opinion. You can only keep a coach for so long.
What do you do with Masai Ujiri? Because I feel like he's very stubborn. I mean, I like what he's done with the team. He's built this team up to be a decent team. He's done really all he can. But I feel like he's stubborn and he falls in love with his players too much.
It's more Casey that's stubborn than Masai, in my opinion, with not giving the guys on the bench that are doing well, keeping them out there for a long time.
He did do that in regular season.
But not the playoffs.
That's where I question him in the playoffs. And the thing I question, especially in Game 4, Ibaka has done nothing in the playoffs.
Obviously.
Nothing. Except for the first 2 games against the Wizards, he was great. But ever since then, he was awful. Yeah. And JV has had a great playoffs.
Right. Except for
and the funny thing is
around the net.
Well, yeah, in Game 1.
Yeah.
But then in Game 4, JV's coming off the bench and Ibaka's getting the start at the 5.
Like, why?
And Miles is getting the start as well. And I thought he was great.
No.
But they got away from who they were. Because you look at the regular season, this team was I said it in the in the last video, how this Raptor team was a team that shot a bunch of threes in the season. There's a ton of threes. Yeah. Whether they made them or not, they could have been hot on one night. They could have been unloading all over the place, and it would have been great. There were some nights where they were awful shooting, like percentage-wise, but they took so many that they made enough.
Which isn't good.
And they made about, I'd say on average, probably about 30 threes taken a game in the regular season. With this? In Game 4, they took a total of 15 threes. They got away from what got them 59 wins.
And how many did they get in?
4.
So that's less than
we talked all season.
40%.
10 threes, 20 assists. Those were the big numbers. They had 18 assists in Game 4, and they had 4 threes. 4!
But see, and the thing is that with the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you're shooting the 3 and it's not working and you're not feeling it, go inside the post with Kevin Love, because...
Well, yeah, honestly, God, I got to give it to Kevin Love. He did step it up in the series.
He did. But this is where JV and Serge have to step up and be like, okay.
Well, yeah, that's why in Game 1, JV was all over Kevin Love and all that kind of stuff in the first half, and things were going great, and then they just missed a bunch of bunnies late in the game, and then they lose in overtime. It was an awful game.
The big thing is with this team is that we either need to get a more physical center.
I don't know. I don't think that's the big priority.
Or the power forward position, be more mobile with the power forward position.
We need another all-star. I don't think another superstar, whatever words you want to use.
Well, it's easier said than done.
I'm just saying, that's what this team needs.
But
what else can you do?
Well, no.
Okay, let's go trade, Serge Ibaka for
I don't think it's
somebody
really
else.
about trading. I think it's working free agency. Getting a free agent possibly this year, maybe even next year.
With what money?
And then maybe letting somebody go before free agency or maybe even after. Work free agency, and stockpile on draft picks, because maybe you can let go one of the, the bench players, maybe a young guy you don't really see much promise of, and then getting a draft pick and maybe starting all over.
So something,
right?
I couldn't agree more. But there's something I want to discuss, and we're going to break things down here. So with Kyle Lowry, you say it's okay to, for him to get traded. That's what you'd be like, yep, I'm fine with it.
It depends for who, but...
Well, but you'd be okay to listen to offers and figure
I'd be
out.
okay with listening to offers for anybody.
Right.
At this point.
So let's move on from the whole trade field. One of our only big free agents this year, Fred VanVleet. He's a restricted free agent, of course, but he's going to want some money. Do you think the Raptors will sign him? Do you think he's going to he's definitely going to test. He already said it. But his heart is in Toronto. He wants to be here. We gave him the big shot. Do you think he's going to stay, or do you think he's going to go? They need him. They need him healthy if this team wants to go anywhere next year.
Especially if you see a Kyle Lowry possibly traded.
Well, if that's the case, Freddie's getting to start. Him or DeLon. I don't know.
Yeah. But I can't really see his heart in Toronto when he only played 1 year here.
We gave him the shot. He was undrafted. He was never drafted. We gave him a chance,
but
and he proved everybody wrong.
With Masai, same thing with the whole Carroll deal. He had a cup with 2 good years with Atlanta. He signed him to a big contract. Oh, how did that work? We just lost the first rounder for him.
Masai does not like making big moves for big players.
No. Masai doesn't, yes, but Masai doesn't like giving somebody like a bridge contract. He's not worth. How much is a Fred VanVleet worth? I would think he's not going to want it because he's going to test. So, but I would possibly give him only maybe, a 1 or 2 year deal, at most 2.
Yeah, because he's only had 1 good year.
And you don't, exactly. But this is
that was the problem with the Norman Powell situation.
But, and that's another contract too. But
it kicks in this year, the next
year. So
year.
Masai's stuck because...
he screwed himself over.
You know one of the bottom feeder teams are going to overpay for Fred VanVleet. You know it. The Magic, the Hawks, Brooklyn.
Yep.
So, we need him, but it's not the end of the world if he walks. It's not the end of the world at all, Raptor fans, if Fred VanVleet walks. At all.
I think it would be a big kill for this team. The way Fred VanVleet handled the ball in late game situations. I mean, for goodness sakes, this guy started the year on the bench.
Remember, he was undrafted for a reason. And I think that
doesn't matter. He was not undrafted because he's small.
Name 3 undrafted players that have been undrafted that became at least one All-Star game.
Does it matter? About the history?
No. But
Fred VanVleet started the year on the bench and never played.
Right.
He ends the year, in the regular season, obviously injured, but he ends the year playing fourth quarter minutes, making big shots.
So you are willing to take that chance of what you just said?
No, not with big money. I'm not saying big money for big years, no. But I want him back. If they lose him, it's going to be a big loss.
Well, if you want him back, he's going to want somewhat big money. And for Masai...
He said his priority is winning. That's what he said.
Well, then bye.
So going to Orlando, going to Brooklyn, you're not going to win there.
But everybody said this all about winning. But for a young guy like this who's undrafted, who wants to get paid, because this could be his big payday. He can never maybe show the flashes like he did in year 1 with the Raptors in his career. You don't know that. Maybe he can go back to being, somebody who rarely comes off the bench.
So we're willing to take that big chance. And if we don't sign him, it's going to be Masai screwed up, letting Fred walk, and then that's going to be a whole fiasco.
Or we do sign him.
Or you sign him to a year or 2 for a bridge contract like you said.
Do you think he wants to do that?
I don't know.
Most superstars don't. Most superstars want to get locked up. But he's not a superstar. But sorry, not like free agents in general. They want to get locked up for 2 years or more because they want to get a house in the city. So they want to be locked up 2 or 3 years. There's no way that Fred VanVleet's going to want a 1-year deal. No way.
I think anything 2+ years, I'd be a little nervous.
I would
1 or 2 I'd be okay with.
Because look at the history with Masai and his contracts.
Yeah.
He's not...
DeRozan a big contract. Lowry a big contract. JV a massive contract.
Well, those 3 guys, they...
And Serge Ibaka?
No, I'm talking about more Norman Powell's and the DeMarre Carrolls and players that haven't proven really anything.
Well, Ibaka really hasn't proven a whole lot to me.
Well, but you can see why he gave him that contract because he's been for 6-7 years he's been a somewhat elite player, not really a superstar, but Fred VanVleet has really, yes, he has, but it's 1 year. And
I don't want to give him
right. It was 1 year for Norman Powell. It was 2 years for DeMarre Carroll on the Hawks.
I don't think if they're going to sign Fred, they better not do more than 2 years. I understand Raptor fans. I know what Fred VanVleet did for this team this year. but it's this year. Can he do it next year? Yeah. And look, I'm curious what would have happened this season if Fred VanVleet was healthy in the playoffs, because he had a couple chances in Game 1 to knock down some big shots.
And he wasn't healthy.
And he wasn't. He said in his, everyone had their press conference today and everything. He said it's a lot worse than everyone thought.
But see, this is where I question Dwayne Casey. Why would you put him out there when you know exactly what's wrong? Dwayne Casey knew exactly what was wrong with him. And you didn't put CJ Miles out there to make those shots. That is not good coaching, in my opinion. Dwayne Casey, Masai Ujiri, and the whole Raptors staff know exactly what's wrong with Fred VanVleet. We don't as fans, right?
What baffles me a little bit is exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Fred VanVleet's clearly not healthy. You see it in game, I think it was Game 1 he came back for sure. Right. He wasn't good. But I'm like, okay, it's rust, whatever. Game 2, I think he was actually pretty good. I'm like, okay, there he is. Game 3, atrocious. And he's clearly sore because you see him, moving his arm, his shoulder. So give Norman Powell a chance. What's the worst thing that could have happened? He could have fallen flat in his face. You signed him for 4 more years. Use the guy.
Yeah. No, and it's...
Whether Raptor fans hate him or not because he sucked this year, you're paying him. Use him. Yeah. Maybe he can find himself again. Because we know what we saw from him back in that series against Indiana a couple years ago.
Yeah. We the norm. Or was
it?
Yeah.
We the norm. Yeah. And that was a thing. And now it's not because... Coach Casey didn't play him enough. I mean, he started the year as the starter, but that changed.
See, I question more Dwayne Casey than Masai Ujiri, because Masai Ujiri is in a very, very difficult spot right now with the whole signing, because like you said, Fred VanVleet wants money.
We don't really know what he wants, to be honest. We really have no idea.
But most guys want term to, settle down in a city. But with Dwayne Casey and his coaching, I really question it because he's very stubborn with his starting rotation and his bench players. If a bench player is shooting over 50%, all right, sit him down. He's a bench player. Okay, so you don't roll with him, and that's bad, and that's not good, in my opinion.
Now, 2 things I want to get to before we talk about the other series. Number 1, going into the offseason, obviously draft is a no-show for the Raptors, but other than that, what are the needs? Okay, well, for now.
Yeah.
What are the needs for this team? And I'll go first, because I feel they need another star. I don't care what anybody says. This team, bottom line,
are you doing by position?
I don't care right now. I'm just saying they need another star. Just hear me out. They need another star because clearly you can't beat LeBron with this lineup. No. And even LeBron, I mean, as much as he's a great player, he's not going to win the championship this year.
But
I'm sorry, Golden State is just too overpowered. He's great, but that's one guy.
Never, dude. Never count out LeBron. And you just said that we need another superstar. That's not coming from the draft in any time from now.
I understand that. So I'm talking about free agency and at least one shooter off the bench.
But if you were a free agent, why in the living heck would you want to come to Toronto after we pretty much embarrassed ourselves?
Because you want to change the culture. You want to change something.
But are players really down for that? Players want to win now. Every player wants to win now.
We came first in the Eastern Conference for a reason. You don't come first and win 59 games because you suck and you got lucky. No. That's not what happens.
But we are going to be a worse team next year.
Depending on what happens.
Even if we keep our same core, I think we will.
I'm not too sure about it. Well, I mean, maybe in the standings with Boston and Philly getting better. But I don't know. I think this team needs another shooter off the bench because you look exactly what Cleveland has. You look at the way they ripped apart the Raptors. Yeah. It was not just LeBron. Yeah. You look at this other team and you say, okay. Thompson. Well, yeah, he didn't play actually that well in Game 4, but overall he was a force. You look at guys like Kyle Korver. He's old, but man, can he still shoot the 3. He had 18 points in the game last night. In the game last night.
He's a sharp shooter, obviously.
And he's a great 3-point shooter. J.R. Smith. He had where is he here? Oh, he didn't even get a point in the last game. But Kevin Love with 21 and 16. George Hill chipped in with 12. Yeah. Jeff Green with 11. They had other guys chip in with LeBron's 38.
Well, Jeff Green is very streaky, but I know what you're saying. He
was great in the whole series. Yeah. So that's just what tells me right there. This team just didn't have anything. Now let's move on to the other series because I'm done.
Okay. Bottom line. So bottom line with the Raptors. Off season, it's hard to tell, but what's your one need? No. Okay, you know what? Blow up the team, or make a couple tweaks.
I don't know.
No.
I have one word. Change. Whatever that means.
Well,
and that does not mean one little eek or two little eek eek.
So it's
no,
not. So
it means something sizable that we
so
can
it's
all
not
go.
tweaking. You want to change. You want to blow up the team then?
That's not. No. See, there's a difference between blowing up the entire team and making a couple tweaks. There's an in between, and that is trying to keep the core but building a better team. You know, getting an all-star. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to do it.
Personally, I think we should blow it up. But that's just me.
Blowing it up means trading Kyle, trading DeMar, trading Serge Ibaka.
But what can you get for those? Because you look at the other teams around us, man. You look at the other teams around us.
They're going to want guys like this.
So that's what I'm... So, yeah, we're pretty much done there. The Raptors season is a complete failure, but... What's new with Toronto sports? But anyways, do you want to go into the other series around the league, just to get our heads off?
Yeah, we'll try to get it going, I guess.
Okay. So going back here, you said the Utah Jazz.
I thought they were gonna put more of a fight. I thought they were gonna put more of a fight. Houston's up 3-1 in the series. That's probably gonna be all she wrote there. But you know what? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. I thought Utah was gonna show some more fight than they did.
I said Houston in 7. Just their playoff experience. This is the first time the Jazz have been in it in. I don't know.
They're a great young team. They look all right, and they're just going to build on that.
So props for.
I think they're going to be out in 5, though. I think the next one's going to be done. I think they're actually playing right now. And they're Houston's up by 2. Houston's up by 2 in the third quarter right now.
So you could see this game possibly going to 6. I'm not too sure, but anyway, going back to the other Western Conference series, New Orleans and the Warriors. Obviously,
that's it to me. Yeah. I don't think it's going any more.
Hey, me and you both said 5. They won a game.
We did. They did win one at home, but I think
they got blown out in what game 3. All right, enough with your Jays.
Yeah, I just saw I got an update that James Paxton, the Canadian boy, just threw a no-hitter against the Jays.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Hey, Canadian. But anyway, so I think we can both agree this series is done. But props to New Orleans for making it.
They came 6th place and they swept the Portland Trailblazers. Good for them.
And AD looks amazing with Drew Holiday and the boys. And
Rondo looked great too.
Yep, bringing back the old Boston Celtics.
There you go.
Philly and Boston. Yeah. So Philly staying alive. Then getting swept by by the Celtics.
I think Boston's gonna take it at home though. The next one is at home. I think it's.
I could see this game going to 6. I think
they're gonna lose on home court.
I think
in
so.
Game 6.
I think so. I think Philly. You have to look at this team. They got more fight than this, man.
Right, but now they're going to Boston, where no team in the playoffs has beat Boston at home.
Really? I did not know that stat. No, I think
with
Ben Simmons,
the Milwaukee series, it was a back and forth. Every home team won, so that was that.
Well, Ben Simmons in game 3, a total of 1 point.
Yeah, and, rookie of the year, eh? Rookie of the year, right there.
No, but I feel like the 76ers have definitely have more fight than this. Boston in 6 still.
I still say Boston in 5. I think it's done.
Okay. Going around the league, so you have the Warriors versus Houston in the.
Yeah, and we'll get to that when it happens. We'll get to that when it happens, and the Boston against Cleveland, in my opinion. But, hey, you never know. All series were, well, except for ours, is 3-1. So
hey, that's kind of funny.
We're going to figure out, by the next podcast, which is good news, everybody. It's back to normal Tuesday afternoons. I can't wait to get that. I'm sick and tired of...
Well, me and you are both tired from work.
Yeah.
But we're doing it for you guys.
Yeah. It's an emotional wreck right now, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it. Now let's get to the baseball. And I just wanted to quickly get to this because...
you want to get to Osuna quickly first?
Let's just really quickly...
the no-hitter.
Yeah, the Jays just got no-hit. Like just now. I got the update, as you guys probably heard on the podcast here. James Paxton, the Canadian boy in Seattle, just no-hit the Blue Jays, and the Jays lose 5-0.
Well, good news is that...
good news is it was a Canadian who did it.
Oh, well, I was just going to say Baltimore's losing 15-1.
We talked about that in the last... We'll get to that in a little bit, about how that team's god-awful. And I want to go on a little rant about the Baltimore Orioles in a bit.
Okay. You're going to... Okay.
I got to rip into them a little bit. As much as I'm a Jays fan and they're in our division, I just want to eat them alive.
So the Jays have been 500 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, and really in the month of May they've been back and forth, and they really haven't been playing the greatest baseball
as of late.
But this is what you kind of
expected?
But they're in a really weird spot right now. They've had to make a lot of roster moves lately. Obviously, the doubleheader was crazy. They're starting to get the injury bug again. It's starting to hit them. Grichuk's gone, I know.
Granderson's gone.
Granderson, Pierce, Diaz is now on the DL. Now you don't have your closer Osuna, and we'll get to that in a second about what happened there today.
Yes, we will.
It's just... I don't know. And then Marcus Stroman really was not good today at all.
But thankfully, our farm system has gotten better.
We'll get to that in a bit. I want to talk about Big Vlad.
Get into it right now.
No, we'll get to that in a second. I just want to talk about this Blue Jays team right now.
Okay.
Like we said, they got no hit. 3 walks. That was about all James Paxton gave up there. Marcus Stroman, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs. He really was not good. But he didn't have any luck, really. A lot of bloopers, broken bat stuff. Right. But he gave up some home runs. So, I mean,
Marcus Stroman's still with not a win in the column.
0-5. 0-5 now.
So
he's been really struggling. He had a great start against Minnesota, but you're facing a really good Seattle Mariners team. I think this team can make the playoffs. I really do believe Seattle.
When was the last time Seattle made the playoffs?
It's been a while. It's been a while, but I think
Jr.
Okay, all right, relax there. The kid, as they called him back in the day. But I think Seattle's a great team, and I think they're going to make some noise. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't know.
Is it young or is it free agents for Seattle?
I think it's just an all-around good team. They have some good starting pitching, and then you look at they got D. Gordon in the offseason from the Miami Marlins, and he's crushing everything. He's hitting .353. I mean, the guy's speedy. Great defense.
I wonder why he went to, I guess because of the money. But
well, big time. And obviously, Miami was just unloading everybody from their team, getting rid of all their good players. Robinson Cano, Gene Segura, he's been a great player for them since he's come over, I think, from the Brewers a couple years ago.
Is Ichiro still on the...
No, well, I think he retired. Is he? Well, I know he renounced it. I don't know if he's still...
well, if he announced it, then...
Well, I don't know if he's still playing.
I think yeah.
Whatever. You know what? Bottom line...
How's Nelson Cruz?
He's still a freaking beast.
Okay, so...
he was 2 for 4 in the game, but both were broken bat singles. He's hitting .255. How many home runs this guy got on the season? He's got 7 home runs. He's having a good year so far. But
now, the team below us, are you concerned about the Tampa Bay Rays and how...
No.
Good. You're not concerned that they might... Even with the injury bugs with the Jays, are you sure?
I'm not concerned about the Tampa Bay Rays. They're like... let's say, for example... The New York Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets go on a 5-6 game win streak. Are they any threat?
Wait, so you're comparing the Knicks in the Nets together?
I'm just saying some garbage NBA teams right now.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And they go on a nice little streak, and they're almost at 500. Do you consider them almost a playoff team?
No, but
No, you don't, right? So that's what I'm talking about the Rays. They were on a good streak. They're going to fall back.
But we're not even a playoff team, so I don't know why you're...
But the Tampa Bay Rays have nothing. They traded everybody.
I know, but I'm saying, do you think they might pass us? Because we're not even considered a playoff team right now. That's what I was getting at.
I don't know. I don't think it really matters at this point in the season.
Well,
you haven't even played 40 games.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
But you kind of want to get a feel for this team, and you said wild card.
Yeah, I did say wild card, and they're obviously struggling right now. They're 2.5 out of the wild card. I think Houston has a wild card right now, which is kind of crazy. The Angels.
And you said LA Angels were going to drop.
They will
in the last podcast.
They will. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Yes, they're still leading the division because they were by a mile. And Houston Astros, they're 5-5. So both teams aren't playing well. The 500 Cleveland Indians, 17-17, they're leading the division. That tells you how bad that division is.
Yeah. And how good our division is.
Right.
Boston is 25-9.
And then the Yankees, number 2, are 24-10. And they're playing each other actually tonight.
And Oakland's actually over 500 for once in their...
Again, I don't think that's going to be sustainable, but who knows? It's baseball. You never really know what's going to happen. Now, for the Blue Jays, I mean, yikes, you just got no hit. I mean, bottom line, this team played a lot of games over the last little while, and they have a day off, like they did yesterday.
So I think this was 2 weeks ago, where the Jays' next schedule, they had to play 22 games in 21 days.
It was what was that? 20 games in 21 days, which is nuts.
Even for baseball, which isn't a physically demanding sport.
The road trip they just came off of, let's get through it real quick. Minnesota for 3. You travel to Cleveland for a doubleheader one day. Then you have to travel right there to Tampa, Florida to play the next night. Which is nuts. And they just got back from that.
It says something when, the flying is more physical than the actual sport. Meaning
mentally, it's nuts.
Mentally.
It's crazy. And for the Blue Jays, I mean, they come home after a day off and we're thinking, okay, good. They'll be able to get some rest, maybe come out and, excuse me, and come out flying against the Mariners. No. Sherman's not great, and you get no hits. So that's it. You walk 3 times, that's about all she wrote there.
Jaime Garcia's gonna...
Yeah, and I don't know, Jaime Garcia, he had a good spring and a great couple starts to start the season, but ever since then, he's been awful. He has been awful. So I don't know what's going to happen. Wade LeBlanc,
6.6.
former Blue Jay, is on the mound tomorrow for the New York Yankees. I see the hat on him. I see the hat on him there. You see it there. Wade LeBlanc for the Seattle Mariners. We didn't see him too much when he was over here anyways.
No.
So I don't know. And then the finale, Mike Leake versus J Happ. And look, we talked about it. We've talked about it since the spring.
Right.
This Jays team will go as far as their starting pitching takes them.
And their starting pitching does not look good.
Other than Marco Estrada in the last game against he's been very good. He had a rough last start, but he was previously he's been very good. Estrada was great in his last start against Tampa.
I think it's mainly the bullpen with Osuna.
They've been great. Yeah, they've been keeping us in games. You look at guys that that were brought in, and you're like, oh, okay, are they going to be any good? They're older guys. Well, I look at a guy like John Axford, the Canadian, 1.65 ERA, nuts, insanely good. Tyler Clippard brought over from the Yankees. His is, I think, sub-2 as well. 1.47, it's even better. Then I go to, I'm not going to go to Aaron Luke, because we all know what he's all about. Second one, 1.76. Anything under 3 for a reliever is fantastic.
Yeah. So it's closing out the ball games, which are.
Well, now you've just lost Roberto Osuna.
But with this bullpen, like you just mentioned in those names, can a John Axford really step up?
I think he will. Because in the previous years, when he was with Milwaukee, he was the closer. And he was a dynamite closer. And he still got the stuff. I think if anybody, he's going to take over the role.
Now, what needs to happen for Marcus Stroman to get out of this funk? Because we've seen his, what
we've
he
seen him at his best. We've seen him at his worst.
And his emotions get the best of him.
Something about Stroman, and it's something that we talk about with Marco Estrada as well. You look at the pitch tracker every time you watch a Blue Jay game.
Yeah.
If the ball is in the lower half, Stroman and Estrada and guys like that, they dominate. Because Stroman's pitches die. Yeah. But if he pitches it up, it dies into the middle of the plate.
And then that's pretty much
just a dinger. It's a home run right there.
It's a fastball.
Yeah, pretty much all she wrote at that point. Yeah. But with Stroman, I thought he was okay today. His stats don't look great. Well, but I know there was a few broken bat singles. Couple bloopers,
a couple errors,
there was an error. It was on Justin Smoke in the game.
And plus, like you said last podcast, the record doesn't necessarily
for Marcus Stroman. No, it really doesn't suggest how he pitches. But 0-5.
But we kind of
does. It kind of does. 0-5 is a big difference. If you're like James Paxton at 2-1. You can't really go off of that.
But
0-5 with a 7.71 ERA like Stroman is, it's not good. It's not good. For the Blue Jays, we're going to talk about a couple things here before we move on to the Leafs. There's really not much to talk about when it comes to the Jays.
Once again.
Because really they're just in a weird funk right now. If they're playing great baseball, we talk about it.
But they're not, because they're a streaky,
they're having a tough time right now. The starting pitching is not good enough right now.
No, but I think it's mainly just the road trips and, like you said, 20 games. 20
games in 21 days.
That's hard.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
Jet lag is crazy right now with the team.
Yeah, especially when you... The big part, when you play a 3-game set in Minnesota, then you go to Cleveland and play a doubleheader, and right after that game, you travel to Tampa to play a 3-game set, and there's no off days in between those. That doubleheader with Cleveland was supposed to be an off day. But they had to schedule the doubleheader in there.
Yeah.
So that was that, right? And
you want to mention
we're gonna move into Roberto Osuna, and if you guys did not hear today, he was obviously charged with
assault.
Alleged. That's the key word. With assault, and it looks like it's of his girlfriend. I'm not exactly sure the all details of it.
Now, see, none
of us know really what's going on.
Now they just said assault, not
they didn't say anything specific. They said assault. Period.
So we don't know who it's with. It could be with
I saw on Instagram. I saw a girlfriend, but I don't know if that's true or not.
If it's domestic or whatever. But
all we know is that he's not on the team right now.
And all we know is that his court date is June. I want to say. No, it's in the teens. It's either 13th or 18th.
Well, I'm going to look that up here.
Yeah, look it up, but going forward. But thankfully, the bullpen has been good for the Jays, so we technically don't need him. Of course, it would be nice if he is in the lineup, but as a young guy, I think Osuna really has to focus on baseball.
It was domestic assault.
So it was. So it was with his... Okay.
Yeah, it was with his girlfriend.
But with the bullpen being so good lately...
June 18th. You are correct.
It's 18th. Okay, I knew it was 13th or 18th. So he can't play till then, and then the court date goes on for a week or so.
And it hurts as a Jays fan because you saw last year they did a whole biography on him, a background. They went to Mexico.
First All-Star appearance last year.
As a player, yes, but as a person, you go back to his hometown of Mexico. They do a whole documentary on him, and it's so nice and touching to see where he's come from.
He's a great player.
You hear this, and you're like. really, Roberto? Like,
But,
what, bud?
I mean, I'm not trying to take his side because
I'm just praying that these are not good accusations. I'm praying. I know.
He did
it. Doesn't look good.
He did it.
It doesn't look good.
But
we've
as a young
seen this before, though.
No.
This has happened all over the big leagues.
No.
Aroldis Chapman, Jose Reyes. None of them have been actually, accused of it. They've been alleged. And
alleged is different from being accused.
Yes, alleged is like you're expected to have done this. Accused is like you've been convicted of it. You're screwed over.
But see, I'm not taking his side at all. But as a young guy, I have a little bit of sympathy for him. He's still 22,
we don't even
23?
know what happened. We don't even know what happened.
And obviously,
so I can't really take
something
sympathy.
happened. Something obviously
I can't
happened.
take sympathy because I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
If he just snapped, how are we going to take sympathy for that? Yeah. If someone's yelling, what if it didn't even happen? What if someone is just calling bloody murder here?
And the same thing with Patrick Kane rape allegations,
exactly.
right? So we don't know if it happened, but if it did...
For it to have been brought up like this,
yeah,
there must have been something.
But we're going to be out with him in close to 2 months.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
2 months we're going to be out with him.
Well, that's when the court date is due. It's 7 days at least, and then they figure out what they want to do. You go back. There's been a lot of these over the last little while. You go knuckleballer Wright on the Red Sox got 15 games. Aroldis Chapman got 51 games for his thing. Reyes, I think, got like 20 or 30 or something.
This is after the court date,
right? But they didn't get accused of it. They were alleged, but they didn't get accused. And they still got this suspension.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, Roberto, we might have a lot of time without him. And that's the part where I'm like, it's going to hurt the ball club, and it hurts me as a Jays fan to really see this.
And it's not even a quarter into the season, and we already lost pretty much our best.
Yes, our closer.
Reliever.
Our closer, period.
Closer, yeah. It is sad. Hopefully this stuff isn't true, but if it is, I take no sympathy for anybody who...
As much as I love Roberto, I can't...
Nope.
I'm not going to say, too bad, come on, dude. No, I'm going to be like, that's ridiculous. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. You're a big league ball player. The way the media is nowadays, and the way the law is, you can't be doing that stuff.
No. Period. Well, not even that. Anybody.
No.
Me, you, anybody
nobody.
listening to this podcast, no, I don't.
But it doesn't help him even more that he's a big leaguer.
And he's a big-time player on the Blue Jays. So
arguably the best young closer in the game. Yep. So it just hurts so much. Now I want to get to something a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more positive for Jays fans, because we really haven't been saying anything positive in this Jays segment.
The farm.
Vladdy Jr. I've seen a few videos about him over the last few days. Number one, he put a ball on a tee and hit an opposite field home run. That is extremely hard to do.
Like, that's a bruh.
Yeah, it is. It's like, we got him. Like, that's ours.
When did we draft him?
He was an international free agent. Out of 15, 16 years old.
And his dad didn't even play. No, his dad played with us?
No, not with the Blue Jays. Expos.
Vladdy
Sr. And that guy's a freak. That guy could hit a home run at any point in the game.
Hall of Famer?
Oh, big time.
Okay.
Big time. And I look at Vladdy Jr. and he did that. And to hit a ball out of the ballpark when the ball's getting pitched to you at a high rate of speed is very difficult to do. Yes. He did it while the ball is sitting still on a tee. That tells you how strong this kid is.
Yeah.
He's 20 years old. He's in Double-A. He's hitting almost 400. The guy's nuts. And then I saw a video.
Reminds me of Prince Fielder a little bit. Like, he can really hit it.
Yeah.
Like,
he's not as large as Prince was.
Well, not yet.
Well, I mean, hey, you never know. He put on some weight, No, but Vladdy, in last night's game, it wasn't today. I don't know what he did today, but last night's game, there was videos surfing all over the place. He had 2 home runs. Now, I don't know how far these home runs were, but when I hear that a 20-year-old Blue Jays top prospect, Vladdy Jr., prospect, hit a home run and it hit the third level of a hotel.
Hello.
I'm like, I gotta see this, and I looked it up, and my god,
the possibly next JD. Yeah, I went there. The hype surrounding.
He's the third baseman, and I think that's why they don't sign JD. I think.
Do you? I mean, maybe to a I don't know, maybe a team that's trying to get into the playoffs, maybe a trade deadline.
Depending on where this team sits. If they're in a playoff spot, which I don't know if they will be or anything like that.
Speaking of Josh Donaldson, he's looked good, man. He's looked good.
Other than today, when nobody gets a hit in the ball game, but it's okay.
Other than today, he's looked fully healthy.
Because he came into the doubleheader against Cleveland, and I'm thinking, he's going to play one. And he played both.
Yeah.
He homered in both games. Welcome back, my man. He hadn't played in over a month, and he comes in and hits 2 home runs.
He's fully healed. And he's starting third base. And then Solarte is...
he played second base today. And Devin Travis is down in the minors. And I'm
surprised.
Still shocked about that. I'm really... I don't know. I don't want them to really hurt him too much. You know, I don't want them to ram him into the ground and really...
Same thing with like a Chris Colabello?
Dalton Pompey, maybe? You know, really, because he had a tough start to his year back when he initially came up. He really never got any stints since.
Only time will tell.
And I don't want that to happen to Devin Travis because we know what that guy can do when he's healthy.
Why did they do that?
Just because he was playing 2 days, one off, and he wasn't able to get into a rhythm, so he's going down to Buffalo. I'm assuming that he's playing every single day.
Hopefully, which nothing in the off the field with
no, I don't think so.
That's good.
I don't think it would be
because you never want to have that.
I think it's just to get him down there and get some consistent reps, but he's having some problems down there. So I'm like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I still believe in Devin Travis. Again, you don't hit 300 and suck. You don't.
In Buffalo, hopefully, he can tear it up. I don't even know why.
Whether he tears it up in Buffalo or not. I mean, I look at a guy like Dwight Smith Jr. who hit 250 down in Buffalo. His career batting average with the Blue Jays is over 350. I mean, it's just, you know, whatever. It's just a different league.
Right.
So, I mean, the prospects for the Jays look pretty good. Tough news for the Jays. Their third best prospect, Nate Pearson, got a line drive off the arm today. He's out 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured something. So I'm like, great.
He's the pitcher?
Yeah, he's the 6'6" guy who throws 100. And he's like unbelievable looking guy. And he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured. I don't know what the heck the word was they used. So that's terrible
Something
news.
In the forearm?
For Jays. I don't know where it hit him. It hit him on the arm somewhere. I'm not sure exactly. Okay. But yeah, that's not good news at all.
It's a speedy recovery. And
I hope so.
But if he broke something, then it's...
If we're trying to find more positive news... TJ, I'm gonna try and say the name again. Zoich, something like that. Zook, something like that. Zeuch. It's
just give up.
Crazy. Anyways, he got the call up to AA. He was the Jays' first round pick 2 years ago.
Right.
He got the call up to AA. Played his first game today.
And then
wasn't good, but it's his first game in AA. So, and I think he's like 23 or something. He's still very young, so it's okay. But that's just a little bit of prospect news, I guess, for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Not
just
really much else to talk about.
No, just moving forward, just try. Just try to stay healthy with the team we have, because if more injuries come, I don't know if this farm team is... yes, they show promise.
You can't get far with just playing your AAA players.
Especially, we understand they're good, but...
Depth is one thing, but having your main players healthy... That's what you want.
That's another thing. Yeah.
That's what you want. Now let's move to the ice, I guess. And the Leafs are... Well, they're done. We all know that. And
do you want to start with the Leafs, or do you want to... Yeah, you know what? Let's start with the Leafs.
No, you know what? Let's start on the NHL, because that's really what's going on right now. Then we'll talk about the Leafs afterwards, because that's where we want to end off
We'll save
the
that.
podcast.
We'll save the series for last. We both want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So, Vegas... I thought they would run right through San Jose.
San Jose put up a little bit of a fight, but I mean, a little bit of fight.
A little bit of fight, but going into free agency, San Jose has a lot of cap room. Who knows what they're going to do with it?
Yeah. So, you know, Vegas continues to shock us all. Really, a lot of people say, "Well, you know, LA, maybe they could." We said sweep of LA was going to sweep them initially. We said that. We said it was going to be a 4-game sweep. We didn't think.
No, I did not. I said 7. I didn't say a sweep. I said LA in 7.
I don't. Maybe not a sweep. But we said LA was going to win the series.
I said LA in 7. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking because Vegas swept them. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
But Vegas swept them, and then I thought Vegas was going to run right through San Jose. They kind of did, but they lost 2 games, went into 6, took care of business.
But now comes the big test. Winnipeg or Nashville. Both teams are very, very, very good.
Nashville shut out
I think
in their own barn.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that might kill the Winnipeg Jets. But Winnipeg, I think, has won 2 or even 3 of their games.
You said Winnipeg in 6.
I did. I really believed they were going to win.
I said Nashville in 7, and they could possibly win in their barn. Their fans
are nuts.
I think Winnipeg's fans are more nuts, but
they're both crazy. They're both crazy people.
I don't know if you saw this,
I love it.
But I think this was in game.
Is this when they're drinking beer off of fish?
This is the Tennessee Titans linebacker. I don't know who it was, but he literally poured a beer through a catfish.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And the whole team was there. Marcus Mariota was there, had his shirt off, so I don't know what was going on there.
I mean,
tighten up.
Everything's crazy in Nashville.
Shout out to the Tennessee Titans, by the way.
There you go.
Anyways, It's going to be a test, but I think this is where it stops. Now, we always say this with Vegas. We always say this is where the Magic's going to end. This is where it's going to end.
And it doesn't. They overcome everything. Everyone thought they were going to have an awful year. Well, they have a great start to the year. We're like, no way they contain it.
No way
they get the best record in an expansion year history.
No way they can win a playoff series.
They sweep the Kings. No way they can get past San Jose because they're more experienced.
I didn't say that.
I know, but a lot of people are thinking that.
Nope.
And nope, they take them out in 6.
So
now we go to Nashville and Winnipeg. We're like, okay, now they can't win this one.
But they
Who
probably will.
Who knows?
And whether it be Nashville or Winnipeg, because they're both similar teams, very good goaltending, very good defense can score. What do you think this series can go to, and who would win?
What, Nashville and Winnipeg?
I couldn't hear you. Sorry, what was that?
Nashville or Winnipeg?
Yeah.
I think with Nashville being in their barn, but if I'm not mistaken, Winnipeg has won all 3 games on the road, unless they won one at home.
I think they won one at home.
Okay, well, you won 2 of your 3 games on the road. It's not like
and
they've
Pekka
been...
Rinne has been the worst goalie out of Connor Hellebuck, and Rinne, he's been the worst, but I can't...
I don't know. It's going to be an... I don't know.
You picked Winnipeg, so do you still pick... Or what?
Well, I kind of can't now. I was in 6. I'm already out of that.
But you still say Winnipeg's going to win tomorrow? Or you think it's going to be Nashville?
I think now that it's 7 in Nashville, I think they're going to take it.
It's going to be Nashville.
I think Nashville's going to take it in 7. Plus the experience as well of Nashville, I think they're going to take it.
Vegas and Nashville, we don't know if that's going to happen.
That's great. I love that.
And
and this is the first time in 10 years we have not had L.A., Chicago, Pittsburgh, or Boston, or I think there's another team in there.
Pittsburgh,
Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston.
That's it. That's it.
Just those 4 teams?
Just those 4 teams.
That's the first time in 10 years we have not seen one of those teams in the finals.
Because the last team, other than that, was Detroit.
Yeah, that's a lot. It feels like a long time ago.
And they won the Cup in 08 or 09?
Long time ago.
08, yeah.
It was 08, because 10 years ago, right?
Right. So, it's a magical run. Whoever Vegas faces, I have possibly the edge going to them. They are fast. William Karlsson.
He's nuts. Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness, he's great.
To be completely honest with you, there's no way that he can perform like he did next season, in my opinion. No way.
I don't know, man.
No way.
I have no clue.
You think that he's going to be better?
No, I'm not saying he's going to be better. I'm just saying I don't know what the heck's going to happen. This team has surprised me in all aspects.
And
how can you have Derek Engelland as your number 1 or 2 pairing and be in the 3rd round of the playoffs?
Now, what's your take on this? Me, you, and pretty much any fan knows that Seattle is going to have an NHL team.
Right.
Now, the fans are speculating, and the media is speculating, that they need to make it harder for Seattle to draft good players in the expansion draft. So, changing the expansion draft. Do you think they should?
No.
Or do you think it's just a run-of-the-mill how Vegas got lucky?
Yeah, I think it's just the great chemistry, the great coaching, the way they built that team is great.
Well, yes, and George McPhee... The one move, or actually 2 moves, that really solidified, because William Karlsson, nobody knew he was going to be this good. When
James Neal or
when the Florida Panthers gave up Jonathan Marchessault and Riley Smith.
Yeah.
And they give a 5th for Vegas to take Riley Smith. That was the move that everyone was like, what is the Florida Panthers doing? What are they doing?
Yeah. I mean,
Riley Smith, yes, he had a down year when he was with Florida. He has close to 70 points now.
He had a great year.
That's the 4th line. Marchessault, or however you pronounce his name, Karlsson, and Riley Smith. That's the first line. 2 of those came from Florida. Nobody knew that William Karlsson was going to be as good as he is.
And everyone forgets about James Neal.
People thought he was out.
Right.
40 goals this year.
Alex Tuck, he had a great season as well.
Well, great. He had 40 points. But yes, for a rookie,
there you go.
Nate Schmidt.
Yeah, former Capital, obviously.
Yeah,
we'll get to that in a second.
Colin Miller from the Bruins.
Yeah, everyone has stepped up, bottom
Fleury.
line. Fleury has revitalized his career.
Well,
and as much as, it would have been nice to see Pittsburgh face him just because the whole Fleury matchup would have been a really cool thing. But I didn't want to see Pittsburgh. But that would have been a really cool matchup in the finals if it would have happened. So now let's move to the Eastern Conference. We know Boston is gone in 5 games.
We love it.
There we go. I mean, then again, we lost to a team who lost in 5 games. It doesn't matter.
And we got the better draft pick.
All Bruins fans Leaf fans joke again. Lose in 5, so shush.
And what's your opinion on the Brad Marchand?
It's a joke. It's a joke, and that sound effect probably scared a lot of people.
Sorry. But
he's
but technically he's not breaking any rules.
No, but he's weird.
Yeah, that is
no right human.
But But what he's doing is throw it. He's doing a good job of it to throw off the other players because what he's
clearly
doing,
it didn't work in the Tampa series.
Well,
he just weirded the heck out of Ryan Callahan.
Off of Callahan, but. And I said this before the season, this series even started. Boston looks tired and beat up, and they were.
The Leafs did that to them.
Oh yeah, and Tampa won in 5 against New Jersey. They had all the rest. They had all the rest, and
they came up flying.
And they're going to be rested to face Washington, which we will get into later.
Yeah.
But with the depth they have, who can beat Tampa? Boston didn't even have any really depth piece. I mean, they just had so much depth. And obviously the Leafs, they took Boston to the brink. Game 7, right? And just the performance, it wasn't good with Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasternak.
They did well, but it was just the rest of the team didn't. And Tuukka Rask wasn't great.
And you had your best defenseman, Torrey Krug, out for the whole series after Game 4.
Right, and when you lose a guy like that, that's tough.
It's over. It's over.
That's a tough thing.
No injuries from Tampa. They had nobody except for Adam Erley, but really, Adam Erley.
Yeah, and now let's get to the series. You and I have been dying to talk about. Look, as a Leaf fan, you have to have a second team, or you used to have a second team, right? And you used to be a Florida Panthers fan, and I apologize for that, but hey, that's just what you were. And I was a Capitals fan. I've always been an Alex Ovechkin fan because I love the way he plays the game and all that kind of stuff. So being a Ovechkin fan and trying to be a Washington fan.
You knew the struggles they had in the playoffs.
Oh my God, it was an emotional grind with the Rangers. And
you had
the
PTSD every single time I said Rangers.
Oh, I didn't actually.
Flyers.
But it felt like it. It felt every time I heard Ryan McDonough, I twitched. It was weird. Okay, maybe not actually,
Ryan
but it felt
McDonough, if you will.
That's what I called him after this series.
But they finally exercised their demons. They finally got the monkey out of their back, and
Evgeny Kuznetsov, as much as the stupid bird celebration he did, you know what? I think he deserved it at that point.
Amazing.
Wow.
To see
and
Alex
you know
Ovechkin.
What? How did that play happen? A Sidney Crosby turnover
And an Alex Ovechkin assist.
Yeah. Things we don't usually talk about.
And if you are not cheering for the Washington Capitals right now, well, let's just say
other
that
than a
you're
Pittsburgh
team,
fan.
Well, other than a Tampa, Vegas, Nashville, Jets fan, whatever.
True.
If your team's out of the playoffs, we all want to see Ovi get his first cup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of Alex Ovechkin for what he's done. You know, that guy has stuck with the Capitals. He has been the
He's been the laughing stock of the whole league because he can't get past the second round. And look at him now. And this was my dark horse. And I said on this podcast, and you were like, do you really think that they're going to finish off Pittsburgh at home? Yes. Washington in 6. And look what happened. Booyah. I give myself a little pat on the back for that.
Yeah,
and you said, what did you say?
There, eh? Jeez.
What did you say?
I said Pittsburgh in 7. Just because of the woes the Washington Capitals have had. But
James Price 0 for 3.
Hey, I'd rather be 0 for 3 on the Capitals. I'm fine by me.
Well, then again, I did say New Jersey in...
You said New Jersey in 5 games, and look where that took you.
Well, it's Tampa in 5, so... I mean, maybe I meant to say Tampa.
Okay, all right, anyways. All right, let's get away from that. But, congratulations to Ovi and the Caps. I mean, and they did that without Nick Backstrom. And Burakovsky. And Tom Wilson. He did not play in Game 6. None of those guys I just mentioned.
Hold on. So Tom Wilson is suspended for, it's one more game.
I think he's done now. I think he's done his suspension.
Is he?
It was 3 games, right?
I thought he didn't play in 2.
He didn't play in the last game.
Which is 3.
Well,
okay,
I don't think...
Look at it, but I thought he didn't play in 2. I thought he had 1 more. And this is without a Justin Williams, without a Kevin Shattenkirk, without a Marcus Johansson.
Yeah.
Right?
Because nobody's talking about them. That's why.
And the media in Washington is not good under pressure, for obvious reasons. So, props to them. Any Washington Capitals fans, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm rooting for you guys.
So,
everybody's rooting for Ovi and the team.
So, he received a 3-game span.
Suspension.
And he is back for the next round. Yes.
And Backstrom is...
they don't know the severity of the injury.
It's on Friday.
That's a little nerve-wracking.
It's on Friday, so both teams are ready to go.
Hopefully Backstrom will be healthy.
It's going to be in Tampa Bay, obviously.
Yes.
Game 1. Yeah, do you want to talk about the Marlies a little bit? Because we kind of
That's the last thing we want to talk about a little bit here.
Second last thing. We're going to talk about... Actually, you know what? Leafs, do you want to talk about the draft a little bit and then the Marlies? Or
Yeah,
Marlies first?
let's go to the draft first. Let's
Okay.
go to the draft first. And
The Leafs, obviously, they are picking 25th. It has been confirmed. The only reason we would have dropped if Pittsburgh
or Vegas won or lost or won or
Something.
whatever the heck it was.
Anyways.
But thinking about the draft, and I know the Leafs only have the 25th overall, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter.
You can still get a stud.
You can still find something you need on this team. And what does this team need? Defense!
Yeah.
They need it. And there are a lot of defensemen going around that area.
Well,
There are a lot. On the mock draft. I mean, that changes all year.
the mock draft, and I love this guy, and I hope to God we draft this guy. 5'11", 180 pounds.
Not a very
similar
heavy guy.
to Timothy Liljegren. Hopefully I pronounced this name right. Niels
Lundqvist, yeah.
Lundqvist, yes.
I mentioned him in my
from the
Leafs
SHL.
Yeah.
Yes, the second highest Swedish. But I'm just going to look at the stats right here. We're going to drop.
Well, he looks pretty good, and that's where I'm looking at him. Like,
that's
okay,
a right-handed defenseman.
It's right-handed, exactly right-handed.
He
We all
for Ludia.
we all know what the Leafs did with the right-handed defenseman this year. It was a complete debacle all season long. So it's going to be a very intriguing part to see what happens next year.
So this guy's 18 years old. He's playing in an all-men's league, second best Swedish league, if you will. 28 games, 2 goals, 3 points, 5 assists. He's 18 years old and he's playing with grown men. Yes.
And he's a defenseman.
Yes. This guy.
There's also guys you can look at. There's plenty of other guys you can look at.
There's plenty of other guys, like you said. There's going to be a Ryan Merkley who's solidified in the. I think he's playing in the
Guelph. He's playing with Guelph.
OHL.
Yeah.
He solidified himself. He's a point getter, but he's playing with people his own age.
So there's arguably that situation that he's going to take a little bit of time to get better. But that's really what the draft is for. Really getting better.
But he's a point per game.
Right. He's a very good defenseman with the Guelph Storm. He's fantastic.
Right. But I don't know if you remember this, but the last defenseman, but the defenseman that sticks that we drafted from Guelph Storm, Matt Finn.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about him.
How did that work out? So I'm a little bit.
But again, there's lots of other guys that can go around. I know there's one defenseman. He's left-handed, I think, but he's 6'4". I think so. If you see him there,
Keandre Miller.
Is he the one 6'4"?
He's 6'3". It says right here. Again, that's another guy. But with the emergence of Travis Dermott, I can't see. I mean,
but there's lots of other guys that can play right side.
And a defenseman is a defenseman. A righty would be nice.
Because if you think about it, a left side shot playing right-handed defense. Well, first off, that's your one-timer ready to go. Yeah. So I mean, really,
right? Yeah.
It's
any
hit or
defense
miss,
moving
really.
And even a center maybe you can see. I wouldn't be that upset. No. But no wingers, please, no wingers.
Oh God, I don't want to see another left or right.
So Ryan Merkley, Jet Wu is another guy, right-handed defenseman for the Moose Jaw Warriors. Let me just quickly go to his stats right here. So Moose Jaw Warriors, 44 games, 25 points. 9 goals, 16 assists. I don't
know.
In his previous years, yeah. To be honest with you, if it was between
Merkley,
a guy,
Lundqvist
playing with older men, but not getting as many points, obviously,
this draft stock can change. Yeah. But it's not a whole lot, probably, because we're a month and a half, 2 months away.
But you kind of see who's gonna right. It's pretty much set in stone.
One of these defensemen that are in the top 15 could drop.
Oh, by the way, congrats to Buffalo for actually winning a draft lottery.
There you go.
And selecting a franchise defenseman.
And Rasmus Dahlin, there you go. The Swedish connection with him, or no.
He's Finnish.
Yeah, Restalainen is
Finnish. But right and left, hello.
That's going to be nice.
That's going to be really nice.
They got a number 1 center, and they have 2 number 1 defensemen.
And they have prospects still coming up. Middlestat, they got...
they have a lot of good players.
Nylander.
They have a lot of good players coming up.
Yeah. But no, they definitely do. And hopefully the Buffalo Sabres can just
do something.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a Leaf fan.
Honestly, I know me and you talk about bad teams. Ottawa Senators, they're a horrible team. Montreal Canadiens, but the difference between those is that sometimes they I don't think it's I
feel like with Ottawa, it's every other year.
Well, no, not even that. I feel like they, the players, have laughs with each other in the dressing room. They have chemistry. They like each other off the ice. Same thing with Montreal. They laugh with Buffalo. That looks like a toxic locker room.
It really does.
Nobody looks like they even want to play with that team. Honestly, Ryan O'Reilly just recently said. I think this was maybe a month ago. Said that he was he was okay with losing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And that's a Team Canada player. That's somebody who is what
you don't want to be hearing.
He won the Masterton Award, or
he won some type of big award.
Some type of award.
I mean, but the Buffalo Sabres, look, they're a joke right now. But I'm happy for them that they got the first overall.
Carolina,
pick.
Man, they were 13th. And
they're in shambles right now. You know what? Their owner. I was listening to it today. They just signed Ron Brendamore to be their new coach.
That's
a guy who has never coached ever.
But you know why they did it?
Cheap.
No.
Cheap.
No. The real reason they did it is because he's the franchise. Rod Brendamore is the number one point getter for the Carolina Hurricanes,
and he's cheap because he doesn't have to be paid a garbage amount of money to be a good coach.
It's not about the money.
It kind of is. They're not willing to go out and get a good coach for good money.
So basically, you're saying that. Let's just say that a no-name wanted less money.
You're telling me they're gonna fill the crowd with Rod Brendamore as a coach.
Yes.
No.
That's what they do. It's like, you
give a garbage product on the ice. What's that going to do just because you want to go see the coach?
That's why they had Ron Francis. That's why they had Ron Francis for so long.
Because that hasn't worked.
And obviously this is going to work.
Right.
It's more about the money. It's about, Rod Brendamore, because he won us a Stanley Cup in 2006.
Useless. That's not...
No, dude, I completely agree. But that was the reason why. That was the reason why they signed, and that's ridiculous. They're gonna fizzle. Why not? I'm not saying
that franchise is just in shambles.
They picked Rod Brendamore over Alain Vigneault.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
He has no coaching experience. He won a cup with them, and that's what they're going off as.
But the thing is, with Vigneault, you'll have to pay him a couple $1 million. But they're only paying Brendamore $530,000. That's because they don't want to spend the money.
And it's
because they're not getting the money with the crowd.
And it's to get fans, too. I believe that they would have shelled out the money for an Alain Vigneault.
Well, why didn't they? Just for that reason?
Yes!
You got to start with coaches to be a good team. No one's going to go to a game just to see a coach.
That's us.
Did we go to a Leaf game just to see Babcock? No.
Did Babcock play or was a Hall of Famer with the team? No. So,
okay, if Matt Sundin turned out to be the next Leafs head coach, would we go see him? No.
It would be interesting, but
you're seeing a coach.
But that's a big market team. That's what we're saying as Leaf fans. For Carolina Hurricanes fans, they're obviously desperate for fans. Why not bring in somebody that...
Okay, Buffalo fans, right? There's no Buffalo supporters, right? They don't...
I wouldn't say there's none.
Okay, all right. When they were really bad, the fan base wasn't all there, right? You would agree with that?
I think that Western New York has a mediocre.
Then why does the Leafs always sell them out whenever we go there?
Because it's cheaper than to the.
Well, why can't Buffalo sell it out? Exactly.
When Leaf fans are there, you're comparing us to the Buffalo Sabres.
No, I'm not comparing us to the Sabres. I'm just saying Buffalo has been awful. Their fans have been kind of scattered all over the place because they don't know what to believe. You're telling me if they bring in Lindy Ruff to coach a garbage team that it's going to fill the place? Or it's going to bring in more fans? Not really.
No.
Just because that was the glory days with Lindy Ruff?
But you're telling me that they didn't have, or they thought, he's way cheaper. They're looking to win.
Are they really?
Yes!
Well, then why don't you go sign a good coach?
Because
how do you win with a bad coach?
It wasn't about the money. It was not about the money.
You say you're talking about the bringing fans in is about winning.
Yes.
Then go for a good coach.
So you're basically saying that they wouldn't pay a coach with a good history. It's same thing with a player.
They didn't want to shell out money.
So they wouldn't want to shell out money to a free agent or somebody that needs a contract on their team that's good? That's what you're trying to say?
No, the salary for coaches is different.
Right.
But I'm just saying, why do they go the route of getting a coach who's never coached? You're talking about how to get fans in. So you're to bring fans in, you got to be a good team, right?
Yeah.
That's what you say. So to be a good team, you got to have a good coach, correct?
Yes.
Vigneault's out there. Why don't you give him the money?
Same thing with Gretzky when he went to Arizona.
Yeah, what'd that get them?
But at the point they're like, Wayne Gretzky, the great one's coaching to bring in fans.
It's Wayne Gretzky.
And plus,
you're comparing Brendamore to Wayne Gretzky.
I understand that, but this is the this is the Carolina Hurricanes all-time leading points getter. And you're telling me that they were... So you're basically saying that it was more about the money than it was the name.
Yes.
I don't believe that one bit. I don't
So
believe that.
if Rod Brind'Amour is now the coach, and let's say the Carolina Hurricanes suck for years to come, you think Carolina fans would be like, "That's okay, we get to see Rod Brind'Amour some more."
I'm not saying that's okay, but the fans, especially the young fans, and their dad telling about their kids, "Oh, Rod Brind'Amour, he was a great player. He won us a cup."
Right, and then they'll see the performance on the ice next year and be like, "Well, this sucks."
But we don't know how he'll do.
He's never coached in his life.
It's about the name. It's not about the money at all.
Well, then you're not going to win. You're not going to win then.
I completely agree with you. This is a horrible decision by the franchise.
It's an awful decision.
But it's the name. And it wasn't about the
money
factor.
I think it's the name and the money.
Because
I can agree with you on the name, bringing in like a big guy, because you got no fans. So, bring in a guy that won you a Stanley Cup and got everyone hyped up to be your coach. Yes. But I think another side of it
is the money.
Money.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to shell out they don't want to shell out money to a coach,
and to give,
which is shocking.
And to give Carolina the benefit of the doubt, it was probably just for 1 year. So if this doesn't work out, you could see a mid-season firing, and then maybe possibly because Alain Vigneault is going to get a job for sure. Whether that be, I don't even know who other vacant head coaches there are in the league.
He'll be a coach somewhere. I don't think it's not going to be Carolina, so I don't know where it's going to be.
Horrendous move for the Hurricanes.
I'm shocked when I heard that.
Horrendous. Especially with a guy like that out. I could see if it was a damn Bilesma out, okay, I wouldn't really. But you had a coach that had has a good track record. Maybe he's a bit old. Rod Brind'Amour's not
He's never coached in his life. No. I'm sorry. That's enough for me.
It's just the name, and like you said, it is the money as well. But it's mainly the name. But going to the Marlies, because
flipping back to the Leafs real quick before we get into the questions and wrap up the podcast here. The Marlies, they're in second round action, obviously against the Syracuse Crunch.
They just swept them.
It's over. 2-1 winners tonight, and that's it. Brooms are out. That's over.
So who would we face them?
I don't really know the division. I don't know the bracket. I'm not sure how it would work. I know the other series are Lehigh Valley Phantoms and the Charlotte Checkers. The other series, Tucson Roadrunners versus, I think it was the Texas Stars, and then you get the Rockford Ice Hogs versus the Manitoba Moose. Those are the teams remaining. Right. We're the only team that is done. Every other series. Well,
we just looked dominant over them.
We won 7-1 on the road in the last game.
Thankfully, who was the?
And Andreas
Carter Verhaeghe actually is on the Syracuse Crunch.
Yeah, well, clearly didn't do a whole lot for them in the series. But you look at, great news for Leaf fans. 2-1 victors today. Timothy Liljegren with a point. He had an assist in the game today. He has
not had a good playoffs.
No, he's had 2 assists in 9 games. But again, he's 18 years old. You can't really, Andreas Janssen scored, of course. Timashov with the goal. Pierre Engvall. And that's a name we got to look at.
Yes, it is drafted in the 7th round.
And he just got a small deal with the Marlies for the rest of the year, and he's been fantastic.
He is big.
He's a big guy.
6'4".
He's a big guy, and he can skate, he can shoot, he can score, he knows how to finish.
Leaf fans, keep your radar. We all know we like talking about Janssen and whatnot, but this guy could be...
And he's big.
JVR replay. I'm throwing it out there.
That's a big shoes to fill after a guy who's just in the Marlies for like half a season. But it's very good. And look, we got to find silver linings at some point. But great thing for the Marlies, they're going around 3.
Yeah.
They're going to the conference finals.
And to not be mistaken, before they were the before they were the Syracuse Crunch, we lost to the Norfolk Admirals, and they were the affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So kind of a little bit of a stretch there, but it is a little bit.
We got swept in the finals against them. Yep,
and we were actually at that game.
Oh God, yeah, we were.
With Conacher and Tyler Johnson was actually on that team. I think Palat was too.
Yep.
But anyways, do you want to go into the questions? Actually,
we'll hit the questions here. And we're done with the Leafs for right now. Right now, there's not really a whole lot to talk about. I think in the upcoming videos, we'll talk more about the draft. Kind of, if there's any other thing else to talk about.
The whole Kyle Dubas, Mark Hunter situation.
That might be sorted by the time we're at the next podcast. Who knows what's going to happen? But let's get into the questions here. I mean, there's a lot. There's quite a few questions actually.
Yeah,
to
there is.
talk
I don't know
about
how we're going to get through.
Let's get through them. We can speed them through real quick.
All right, let me just go.
Who we got?
Okay, we got Michael.
Michael, what's up, bud?
Do you think Brad Marchand should have been suspended after looking the Tampa Bay guy, which was...
no, not suspended, but he's just weird.
Yeah. Also, did you see guys Marchand's tweet saying the Habs were out of the playoffs in October? That is funny.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Because I don't know why the Habs are trying to trick Marchand. Like, buddy, you were gone way out.
Let me actually go to that tweet
That was
quickly.
hilarious. You know, I don't like Brad Marchand, but that was
I hate Montreal.
funny.
And, no, sorry. First, it was the kissy face. First, he tweeted a kissy face. Let me just go back to what he said.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
So he tweeted a kissy face, a winky kissy face. Okay, we don't really know what was that about. Then, the Montreal Canadiens, all of a sudden, I don't know why they tweeted this, both in French and in English, without naming names. Just a reminder that licking is frowned upon on the golf course as well. Now, I have no idea why the Montreal Canadiens...
They were eliminated with like 20 games to go in the season.
Remember, this is the actual verified Canadiens account.
This was actually them. This was actually them.
And then Brad Marchand, funny throwing shade when you were out of the playoff race since October. You know what?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Props off to
but
Brad
it's
Marchand.
true.
No, it is true. Why are you... Boston had an unbelievable season. They have unbelievable rookies.
If it's the Tampa Bay Lightning saying it to him, fine. They just knocked them out. But it's the Montreal Canadiens.
I don't know what. Especially, this is their verified account saying
that
this.
whole team is in shambles. Their Twitter's taking fire at Marchand, who got into the playoffs and is one heck of a player. Also a greasy rat, but he's a heck of a player.
He's a heck of a player. And the Boston organization, they have such a bright future.
Yeah.
With all the rookies they have, and we obviously talked about their rookies with the whole Leaf series, so this is the verified account. This isn't some troll.
That is funny.
Funny, Brad Marchand, man.
Montreal, everything about them is stupid.
Yep. Okay.
Next! Thanks, Michael, for the question. Who we got?
I gotta go back way to your mentions, because I went on to my...
oh, yeah, there you go.
Anyways, guys, if you want, follow my Twitter. _.
All right, simmer down there, All-Star. All right, what do we got?
Okay, we got, what do you think the Raptors could do in the offseason?
What do we got?
Try pronouncing that name.
Desm? What's their handle? What's Twitter handle? Barvin, I think. Anyway, sorry for botching your name.
Barvin.
But, what do we got?
Okay. What do the Raptors could do this offseason to get better? Like you said before, it's mainly honestly, at this point, me and you both don't know. It's everything.
There's a lot of things that this team.
We talked about this more in the first segment, but it's everything with this team. We can't really specifically, because it's not working. The whole team's not working. It's not just one thing. It's the whole team.
Yep.
Okay, so this is next question. MAV416.
All right.
What can the Jays do to stop their injuries?
Stay healthy.
Well, there's
it's hard to stop injuries. It's really tough to say.
Yeah.
You ask them to stop taking injuries. Well, they're just going to stop playing good baseball. They're stop playing hard.
They're having injuries because they're playing their hearts out.
And the moment you don't play your hearts out, the moment you start getting healthy, but it really doesn't help your team.
Okay. Should Stroman get the Matt Harvey call from the Bisons?
No.
She shouldn't.
No.
Okay.
We know what Stroman can do. He's just got to work through these situations. That's my opinion on that.
Okay, and also, should the Jays coordinately invite back to the Yanks so we can win the series and reverse things? But I don't know.
Should the Jays cordially invite back the Yanks?
Because after that, the second series with them, it went down here.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to go back to that series and get a victory.
Of course, we're very well prepared in the Teal Sports Talk
podcast world
studio with the questions. Obviously, we're very prepared with them. But what do you think?
Sarcasm and a half. But anyways, I mean, yeah, I'd love to go back to that series and get the series win and then keep rolling, but can't do that.
Yeah, okay.
I wish we could.
Right. Brooke, she's awesome.
Yeah.
So Solarte's big day at Cleveland.
And the doubleheader, he was nuts. Solarte was on fire against Cleveland those 2 days. That was fantastic.
All right.
Was there a question there? Or?
Michael Gordon. Well,
okay.
not really a question.
Thanks, Brett, for the question. Michael, what's up, bud?
Michael Gordon, what do you think about the Blue Jays farm system, and where do you think their prospects rank in the MLB? That's a good question.
Well, we know Vladdy's number one, because I think the Braves got one, and he got called...
Farm system. Not
no, they talk about prospects, right?
Well, the farm systems in a whole. So
where their prospects rank?
Oh, okay.
And I think Vladdy's number one, because the Braves had one, he was number one, Vladdy was two. That guy got called up to
White Sox?
That guy got called up to the big leagues. No, Moncada was number one. He's now in the big leagues. So I think Vladdy's number one.
In the
Bo, I think he's top 10. I don't know whereabouts in there, but they got some really good pieces. We talk about Nate Pearson and how he got injured, which sucks, but he was a good-looking guy as well.
Again from Michael. Not really a big question, but basically when the Jays are going on because obviously the Raptors are done, the Leafs are done. The Jays segment will be first, and the Raptors and Leafs segments will be a little bit shorter.
Yeah,
besides free agency from both teams and from drafting. But other than that, Jays first, Raptors, Leafs, wherever position we decide.
That'll kind of be what's depending on what's going on, right?
Exactly.
If we hear more about the Lou and Dubas situation, the Leafs will go second.
Or let's just say that the Raptors fire Majiri or something like that.
Right, that'll be second. Happen. So it all depends on what's happening during the week that we'll decide that. But the Jays will be definitely number one every week from now on until the season gets going for the other teams.
I think that's it.
That's it?
I think that's it.
Well, that is it for the questions. Thank you guys so much for all the questions.
Episode 11. Yeah, thank you guys for the questions, and we're going to get back to our regular schedule next week.
Tuesday afternoons. Don't you guys worry about that. About 1:32 o'clock, this podcast will be uploaded to you guys. So I apologize for all the roller coaster rides over the last few weeks, but we'll be back to normal.
It's been hectic.
Evan and I appreciate all your guys' support.
We're going to be more
comments.
active on Twitter, too.
And hey, we have, I don't know if we have 70 subscribers on the channel yet, but we're getting pretty close to that.
We're at 67 for a while, so guys, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of us. And who knows, maybe we'll do, I'm not making any promises here, but maybe 2 podcast episodes in a week if you guys don't. Yeah, we'll find the time for it maybe, but for right now,
it's an option.
Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it, guys. Subscribe to his main channel.
If you guys have not already, I smacked that subscribe button on the main channel, TO Sports Talk. Links in the description for that. And we both appreciate all your support. And
follow us on Twitter, and down in the description.
Yeah, link is down there for for Twitter as well. We appreciate all your support. And Evan and I will talk to you guys I guess next Tuesday.
Afternoon.
Week today, Tuesday afternoon, back to normal schedule. And I will talk to you guys when I go home. As the Blue Jays get no hit by James Paxton.
That's going to be a rage video?
No, it's just going to be a depressed,
I'm surprised you didn't do that rage
video
for the Cavs.
More or less just depressed than anything else.
Right.
All right, so hey,
we're
appreciate
exhausted.
all your support. I'm exhausted. We're exhausted. Let's just we had to pound this out for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Peace.